Okay guys, now we'll be discussing the injuries to the different parts of brachial plexus. Okay, we'll be discussing mainly these two palsies guys, the Erb's palsy and the Klumpke's palsy. Erb's palsy is also called as the policeman's tip hand. There's a reason for it, we'll be seeing that now. And there is a Clumpke's palsy which is also called, which causes basically complete claw hand and Horner's syndrome. We'll be studying that in detail. अभी देखना, Erb's palsy happens when there is damage to upper trunk of brachial plexus. When there is damage to upper trunk of brachial plexus. So, what is the root value of upper trunk? C5C6. So, C5C6 will be damaged. So, the nerves which are involved having root value C5C6 will be usually damaged. Okay. See here, guys. The nerves involving C5C6 are musculocutaneous nerve, the axillary nerve, and the suprascapular nerve mainly. See here, musculocutaneous nerve has the value C5, C6, C7. See, it supplies three muscles basically: the biceps, the brachialis, and there is one coracobrachialis from coracoid process to the brachium, which is the arm. So that those three muscles will be affected mainly. See here, the biceps. What is the action of biceps? ये तो करते होंगे ना? That is the flexion. The flexion action of biceps is affected. Brachialis is also a flexor. That is also affected. So biceps का एक और interesting point है. Though it's a flexor, usually they flex to show the biceps. It's also a supinator. See here, it's a strong supinator of forearm. This is pronated, but when I supinate, a biceps is getting taut. So that is a strong supinator. So, अगर biceps, the supinator of action of the biceps is damaged, then what will it cause? It will cause the pronation of arm. If biceps is damaged, it will cause the pronation of arm. So, and if the biceps is also a flexor, brachialis is also a flexor, then if the flexor action is damaged, it will cause flexor damage, extension. Flexor gaya, extension. Why? Because extensors are having unopposed action. Then there is coracobrachialis. ये मसल का इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग है. अभी देखना, C5, C6, C7 था, पर डैमेज कौन सा हुआ? C5, C6. बट ये coracobrachialis is a favorite beta of C7. So that the C7 favors more of its supply to coracobrachialis. So if C5, C6 are damaged, the C7 will be spared. So coracobrachialis will be spared. It is also a weak flexor of shoulder joint. Then there is axillary nerve. Axillary nerve supplies two muscles: the deltoid muscle, the shoulder muscle, where we'll get a COVID vaccine, that one, and there will be teres minor muscle. The teres minor muscle, and there is one more infraspinatus. We studied that now. It is on the posterior aspect of the scapula below the spine. That and the teres minor together cause the lateral rotation of the shoulder joint. Lateral rotation. This is medial rotation. This is lateral rotation. Medial, lateral rotation. And the deltoid muscle is involved in abduction. So if the deltoid is paralyzed, we won't be able to abduct till 90 degrees. Above 90 degrees, there are different muscles. We'll be studying that. Then there is suprascapular nerve which supplies that. Now we studied that. So if that is also injured, it will be having the paralysis of supra and infraspinatus. That will also cause impairment in abduction and lateral rotation. So if the arm can't be abducted, what will be adducted? If the arm can't be laterally rotated, what will it happen? Medially rotated, isn't it? Because opposite antagonistic muscles have unopposed action. अगर एक person को equilibrium में रहना है, both should act. The agonist and antagonist should be acting in an equilibrium. If it doesn't happen, one will dominate, and if the abduction can't happen, adduction will happen. If the lateral rotation can't happen, medial rotation will happen. Okay guys, it's one of the concepts which you can apply anywhere. Okay, and these muscles, ये सब है ना, axillary nerve के supply and suprascapular nerve के supply, they are at the level of arm, at the shoulder joint basically. Then there is these musculocutaneous nerve का जो clients हैं, they act at the level of forearm or the elbow joint. Okay. There will also be cutaneous damage, but we'll be studying the motor disturbances mainly. Okay. Then, okay guys, how would the patient present with when he has an Erb's palsy? He looks like this. See here, It is like this. Can you see? What is the condition of the shoulder? Shoulder is adducted and medially rotated. Why? Because there is paralysis of abductors and lateral rotators. And what is the condition of the elbow joint? Elbow is pronated. See here, pronated. See, pronated. This is supine. This is pronated. See, pronated elbow is because of paralysis of biceps mainly, because biceps is the chief supinator. So if it is paralyzed, there will be pronation. Then see here, what is the condition of my wrist? Wrist is in flexion. Okay, we'll be studying that in detail when we go for the muscles of the forearm. Okay, this is the condition how the patient will present with. So why is it called policeman's dip hand? Because usually when the policeman takes a bribe, he takes it like this. He'll be seeing somewhere and he'll be taking it in this hand. So it is called policeman's dip hand. But most policemen don't take those things, trust me. And guys, then what is the causes of this upper trunk injury? Upper trunk injury happens when there is hyper extension of side flexion of neck. See here is the neck, brachial plexus ka upper trunk comes like this. So if this hyper extension, there can be damage to it. So when does that happen? During birth. If you haven't seen any delivery videos, there are different stages of birth which happen, and one of the stage they hold the head and they pull the baby out to the lateral flexion of the trunk. But sometimes what happens when they are pulling the head and it is bent like this, and they pull it out again, so there can be hyperextension of the neck. So if they pull it up like this, the head can extend and there can be damage to upper trunk. One more thing, in adults what can happen, if they fall with hyperextended neck, like flip marne chale the ya stairs se gir gaye, and they fall on the hyperextended neck like this, so that can also cause the injury to the upper trunk. Now let's study about the clump case paralysis. Clump case paralysis happens when there is a damage to the lower trunk of brachial plexus. What is the root value of lower trunk of brachial plexus? The root value of lower trunk of brachial plexus is C8 and T1. So if they are damaged, the nerves which are having contributions from C8 and T1 will be damaged. So the muscles which are involved in that also will be paralyzed or weakened. So if that happens, the actions of the muscles will be affected and the manifestations happen. So in clump case paralysis, the main manifestations were the complete claw hand and the Horner syndrome. Why does that happen? We'll be studying that now. Okay, guys, see here. There is basically intrinsic muscles of the hand. Intrinsic muscles of the hand का मतलब क्या है? They begin in the hand, end in the hand, begin in the hand, end in the hand. So origin and insertion is there in the hand. Okay. There is one very interesting muscle here. The very interesting muscle is the lumbricals. So lumbrical का मतलब क्या है? Lumbrical means worm-like. So if what is the action of lumbricals? This is very interesting, guys. See here, this is the action of lumbricals. One of my dear teachers used to teach me like, this is the Babaji ka Thullu muscle. This is the Babaji ka Thullu muscle. See, you have seen Kapil Sharma show na? So अगर नहीं भी देखा है, this is the action of lumbricals. Okay, that is the flexion of metacarpophalangeal joint. This is the metacarpophalangeal joint. The flexion of this joint is the caused by the lumbricals. And there is one very interesting thing. This is the extension of interphalangeal joint. See here, these are the interphalangeal joints now. This is flexion, extension. Extension of interphalangeal joint, flexion of metacarpophalangeal. This is the action of lumbricals. Okay, so in some dances also you must have seen they do it like this, like this. This muscle is the lumbrical action. Okay, action of lumbricals. Okay, see here, and if the lumbrical is, this action does not happen, so what happens if flexion doesn't happen? Extension of metacarpophalangeal joint. ऐसा था, ऐसा हो गया. Then there is, if extension of interphalangeal joint can't happen, what will happen? Flexion like this. So what does it look like? टाइगर का तो पंजा देखा होगा ना तुमने, ऐसा मारता है ना before attacking. So this is called a claw hand because it looked like a tiger, cat or any other animal's claw. It is called as claw hand. Why is it called complete? Because all the digits are involved. So it is called complete claw hand. Partial claw hand भी होता है. We'll be studying that soon. Okay, like these two fingers happen, other three are normal. These three happen, other are normal. That also happens. Okay. guys. And then there is beautiful Horner syndrome. So what is Horner syndrome? Why Horner syndrome? Because there is injury to T1. Guys, autonomic nervous system में याद रखना, there is sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the nerve of excitement, parasympathetic is the nerve of calmness. So if the sympathetic nerves come from, it's called thoracolumbar outflow. So from T1 to L2 there is sympathetic outflow, and the remaining is by the parasympathetic remaining is the parasympathetic outflow, the cervicosacral outflow. We'll be studying that soon too. So the T1 is also damaged here now, so there will be autonomic manifestations. See here, what are those manifestations? Ptosis is the drooping of eyelid. See, this is like this normally. Ptosis will be like this. Then there is anhidrosis. Anhidrosis means that part of the face will be dry. Usually the manifestation of Horner syndrome is in the face. Okay. Then there is meiosis. Meiosis matlab there is contraction of pupil. You can't see my pupil because my eyes are dark brown. So the pupil becomes very small. So that is called as meiosis. Opposite of meiosis is mydriasis. The pupil will enlarge. Different cases can present that. We'll be studying that soon. So this happens is meiosis. The pupil will become very small. Then there is anophthalmos. Anophthalmos is what? The eye will go inside. It will go like this inside. That is no, not the eyelids. The eyeball will go inside. That is called as anophthalmos. And there is loss of ciliospinal reflex. Ciliospinal reflex is one of the reflexes. We will be learning that in physiology. See, if you give a painful stimulus to the neck, the face, or the upper part of the trunk on the ipsilateral side, there will be dilatation of pupil. That is known as the ciliospinal reflex. That will be lost in Horner syndrome. Guys, I used to learn it as Pamela has Horner syndrome. I'm really sorry, guys, if there is any Pamela listening to me. Pamela, I'm really sorry, dear. I used your name. I really didn't mean to hurt you. I really love your name a lot, so I used it in Horner syndrome. Okay, guys, see here. What is Pamela? P is this word is in this word. The P is ptosis. Okay, the drooping of eyelid. A is anhidrosis, the dryness of the face, and then M is the meiosis. Meiosis is constriction of pupil. E is anophthalmos. L is loss of ciliospinal reflex. Okay. And guys, when do you think can the lower trunk of brachial plexus be damaged? Upper trunk हमने देखा, there is hyperextension of neck. Upper trunk ऊपर था, so it will get damaged. Lower trunk में क्या होता है? There is hyperextension of the hyperabduction of the arm. See here, अगर there is hyperabduction, there is damage to the lower trunk of brachial plexus, isn't it? So when can that happen? That can happen mainly, usually in two cases. मतलब एक इंसान हाइट से गिर रहा है, ही इज फ्री फॉलिंग का मतलब क्या? देयर इज नो अदर सपोर्ट, ही इज जस्ट फॉलिंग डाउन, एंड बचने के लिए लाइक ही इज फॉलिंग ऑफ अ माउंटेन और अ क्लिफ. सो बचने के लिए ही सॉ अ ट्री, ही held it एक हाथ से. So there is excessive pressure here ना, excessive abduction, there is excessive effort, so the lower trunk can get damaged. And one more thing case it can happen is during deliveries. See, अगर delivery के time the hand comes out first and they pull the hand, then there can also be lower trunk injury, but that doesn't happen clinically, because according to the guidelines, if there is a hand coming out first through the vagina, basically they won't pull the hand. There are other ways they can manage it. So that is what summarizes the Klumpke's paralysis. Okay guys, that was today's class. The brachial plexus, the formation, the branches, the root value of those branches, and the associated clinical scenarios. Okay guys, if you have any doubts, please post it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer you. Keep learning, keep enjoying. Take care. Bye. Bye.